by the magic of camera, we advance to the next step. I have weighed the leg of pork after removal of the bones. It now weighs a little under 10 kilos. In order to preserve it properly, we now need to immerse it in salt for 1 day per kilo. So that's 10 days in a coarse salt. This is a medium grain salt called Flossy, F-L-O-S-S-Y salt, which is good for curing larger pieces of meat because the salt dissolves somewhat more slowly than fine table salt, but you could use either. Very coarse grain rock salt would not give you enough salt penetration into the meat. I've made a bed of salt underneath and I have weighed out some curing salt. Curing salt is the so-called pink salt, which is a mixture of nitrate and nitrite. The nitrite is the active curing agent. The nitrate changes to the nitrite over time. And what the nitrite does is 3 things. It creates an environment where it is hostile to toxic bacteria like botulism and salmonella. Secondly, it binds to the myoglobin protein in the meat. The myoglobin is the protein that gives beef its red colour and pork its pink colour. It binds to the myoglobin and keeps the colour. That's why when you have Christmas ham or bacon, it's a nice rosy pink colour. Without the nitrate and nitrite, it would be a grey colour like roast pork. Thirdly, it adds some flavour to the meat. You could use salt alone. What the salt does is create an environment where it's hostile to the bacteria. The salt enters into the tissue and leaches out water, the process called osmosis that you may be familiar with. If you leave it in here, it will, over time, 1 day a kilo, create an environment where the water's come out of the tissue, the salt has penetrated into the meat to a desirable degree, and the product will be safe to air dry. But the nitrate gives you a margin of error. If you're doing this at home, you don't want to make any mistakes, you don't want to kill yourself, your friends or family. That peace of mind is given to you by the nitrate. In my view, amateur charcutiers should use it. The trick to doing it is to mix up the nitrate, number 2 cure, which gives you a longer conversion of nitrate to nitrite, constantly renewing it, which you need for a long period of air drying for a big product like this. Always use number 2 cure for big products like this or salamis. Number 1 cure is suitable for other shorter products. I'll deal with the difference in a separate video. The ratio of number 2 cure to meat is 0.3% by weight. So for a 10 kilo leg of pork, 30 grams of number 2 cure, which I've measured out of the bowl. I've added to it some fine table salt. The reason for that is so I can massage it into the tissue. If I simply threw 30 grams of number 2 cure into a bag of salt, poured it on top of the meat, there would be insufficient nitrate in contact with the meat to guarantee a proper cure. If you apply it directly, like this, and massage it into all those nooks and crannies, you are ensuring as best you can that the nitrate is making contact with the cut surface of the meat and will thereby be absorbed into the tissue and give you a good cure. So rub it in well, all around the head of the femur especially, down these sides. The edges of the meat need to be rubbed with the cure as well, because they must be properly cured. Keep a little for the skin side of the meat, just to be sure, but use it as much as you can on the cut surface, particularly any nooks and crannies. You'll see that the surface of the meat is already starting to change its texture. That's the effect of the salt. Once this salt curing process has finished, I trim off the meat again. You'll find there are even more raggy bits once you've finished, but there's no point in trying to do it now. Give it a further clean off, trim off once you've finished. Now the process is simplicity itself. I have a large bag of salt. I will pour it on top of the meat, keeping the meat skin side down, cover over the meat, then place a board and a weight on it, place the entire box in the refrigerator for 10 days, 1 day per kilo, neither more nor less. At the end of that time, remove the meat, trim it off, hang it and air dry it. Once again with the magic of camera, I have covered the meat with salt. You'll see that I'm a little bit short of salt. I have 3/4 of a bag. I'll get some more. You need about 20 kilos of salt to fully cover a 10 kilo leg of prosciutto. And I like it to be entirely covered all the way around, including the trotter, but for demonstration purposes this will be sufficient. Then a board goes on top and a weight of some description, place it in the refrigerator, remove it in 10 days time.